Now I want to talk to you about how far this team thing can go. And this is the exciting part for me. It might not be for everyone. Some folks are happy at this stage right here, and this is good enough for them. And they're taking all that extra income that they're earning, and they're doing smart things like buying investment properties and investing in mutual funds or whatever it is that you do to ensure your retirement's in place, right? But for some folks, well, we just want to see how big this business can actually be. And I think that this is the one place where most real estate agents have a blind sight to. Because when you think of a team and the teams that you see, they're typically not very big teams. As a matter of fact, there are very few really large teams out there. And the ones that are out there, man, they are killing it. But you got to keep in mind, they've got marketing directors, they've got staff, they've got multiple assistants, they have an HR rep sometimes. It is very, very much like running your own business, even if your license is hung under a different brokerage. So I want to take an opportunity to show you this, the very beginnings, the humble beginnings of team development, having that admin and that buyer's agent. But it gets so much deeper. And I want to take this and I want to show you something. I had this epiphany when I was reading a book about team development because I was trying to come up with the futuristic way of building a team. And I thought to myself, why would I change the team development or the team process or the team growth? And I thought to myself, the only reason I would change it is to make it more systematic and make it better. And so my epiphany was that I had spent 9 years in the United States Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps is very systematic. Everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Everyone has a billet. Everyone has an MOS, a military occupational skill. They take you in your military occupational skill and they assign you to a billet, and that billet has a responsibility, and that responsibility is written inside of a book called the SOP, or the Standard Operating Procedure. Imagine if you could build out your own army of real estate agents and make it that systematic. I'm not talking about large brokerages with thousands of agents around the country. That's not how it is. The Marine Corps is not thousands of people just scattered around the world doing whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. The Marine Corps is very, very smart, very systematic in the way that they do things. And then I started to think about it, and I said, well, so's the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. They all follow very similar methods when it comes to how big a squad is, who's in charge of the squad, how many squads make a platoon, who's in charge of the platoon, how many platoons make a brigade, who's in charge of the brigade, and so forth and so on. And so I took this back and I said, this has been working since long before the Romans. Romans ran platoons and brigades exactly the way that we run them today. Why? Because they work. So then I challenge you to this. You'll always have your admin, and as your admin, if you hire right from the very beginning, your admin should grow up to be your team manager. Doesn't always work out that way, but the person that's been with you the longest, that understands all the administrative back end of your company, of your team, well, it'd be great if they were grown in-house. They were homegrown from the very beginning. They felt the bumps, the bruises, the pain throughout the process, right? And then we take you, and you are the general, if you will. And under you, let's say we assign 4 captains, or call them, here we could put captain, but let's call them area leaders. Now I want you to think about how big I'm going with this. I just called them area leaders. Do you think that we have stepped out of the typical market that you've been working for X amount of years? Absolutely. See, I'm in Florida. So this could be Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and let's say Daytona. Everybody knows Daytona and Daytona Beach, right? And I could have area leaders in charge of each of these areas. And in those areas, I can build out platoons. Now I want you to see how big this gets. Here, we can have what we call squad leaders. Work with me here. Now, each one of these squad leaders would be assigned leadership roles because they would be in charge of other agents. So let's assume that each one of them has up to 4 agents, because you want to be careful. These squad leaders, they're still selling real estate. They're still taking buyer leads. They're still putting listings on the market. But they have risen their hand within your team. And they have said that they want to be a part of something bigger. And so you assign them agents, and you assign them up to 4. That's my advice to you. Don't ever give them more than 4 agents, because at that point, they're basically running a team, and you don't want them to not be able to have their own production. And yes, they receive overrides on everything the agents that are assigned to them do. And so there's a benefit to being in leadership. There's a benefit to being a squad leader. So now I wrote Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Daytona, but this could be Florida, Virginia, New York, and New Jersey. This could be California, Arizona, Texas, and Tennessee. This could be whatever you want to do, however you want to influence it, and whoever you bring to the table. Now, when you look at this team is a monster. This team is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80 people just in this section here. And then you still have the 4 people that run your area. And then you have you. Now, we didn't even get into you having a team manager, an admin. You're going to have marketing, a recruiting director or HR. You're going to have staff. You're going to have maybe inside sales associates, right? Or things of that nature that just completely depends on how you built out the systemization of your team. But imagine here, these agents down here are getting 50% of the business. These agents here are getting a 5% override. These agents here are getting a 5% override on their entire area. So this person here is getting a 5% override on this entire thing. That's 50, 55, 60. That leaves you with 40% of the business and 85 people doing it. This, my friends, is not for everyone. I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you how big it can get. And this could get bigger, by the way. We just stopped at 4 because I'm thinking military platoons and battalions and things of that nature. But you can add another line here with another person, with another squad, and keep going and keep going and keep building this out. You can turn this into whatever you desire it to be. This makes you the CEO of a very large organization. This is basically a small to medium-sized brokerage inside of the brokers that you're with. Huge opportunity here. But again, it's not for everybody. Some folks just want to do this with maybe these two people and this administrator. And that's 100% okay. But I wanted to take the side blinders off of you. And I wanted you to see how big, how enormous, and how limitless this can be. There is no glass ceiling. There is no ceiling. You can take this as big and go as far as you want to go. And I promise you this, if you build something this great and this amazing, there are a few things that happen. The broker that owns the brokerage that you're at, well, let me tell you that they love you. I'm going to put a red heart here. Anything you need, broker support has you. Because if you produce for the brokerage will forever love you. The second thing that happens, if you've got great systems in place and you have everything accounted for, including your accounting, this team becomes sellable. This is a business that you can sell potentially for millions and millions of dollars. A brokerage would be interested in buying this business from you. The other part that it becomes, besides the fact that we just made it scalable, there's an opportunity for you to retire. So now see this. You build this business. It's running. Everything's great. You hire a CEO and pay this person, I don't know, let's just come up with something astronomical, $250K a year to run your business plus bonuses on production. And then you get to step away from the business and you get to retire while still owning a company that will continue to grow. I want to show you this because I want you to understand that there's no limit to what you can do when you own your own business in real estate.